evening, end of day 6 here in Spain, 21st of October 2017. Absolute stonker of a day again, out in the sunshine. It was Saturday, so we had the day off. Went for a hike, covered about 20 k's in the end all morning, so yeah, that was bloody fun. Thought I'd give you guys a little bit more background on the concept of workaway and that sort of thing. The reason I wanted to do that was a lot of people I've talked to over the last few months had no idea what Workaway was. This is the website, Workaway, www.workaway.info. I'd encourage everyone to go and have a look. It's free to sort of have a browse around. It's a big network all over the world, 31,000 active hosts, sort of born on the back of the idea of woofing, and the concept is sort of 4 or 5 hours of work, 5 days a week, in exchange for bed and food. So unpaid work, but yeah, paid in some regard. If you want to join up, it does cost €30, I think, a year. And you just sort of create a profile for yourself, write a wee bit about who you are and what you're up to, and then you can just crack straight into searching. I'd sort of set my heart on Valencia here in Spain, for whatever reason. Wanted to find somewhere that spoke Spanish rather than something different. Catalonian around Barcelona, and then Basque up in the Basque country. And I'd had a great time in Valencia anyway. So that pulled up about 280 hosts. I managed to whittle them down to about 40 and subjected them all to a reasonably rigorous rating schedule to finally send out 19 emails. I heard back from 10 of them, so yeah, that's not too bad, I reckon. It's a pretty good concept, I think. It's especially for people who are traveling around, it's a great way to see the world. You can do it relatively cheaply, obviously, and also for people who want some work done. It seems to me like a good idea. This was the profile of the place that I'm at. So as you can see, they write a wee description about the job, a few photos, talk about the languages that are spoken, and basically what you can expect when you turn up. We're all first timers. There was Johnny, myself, and these guys here. This is the first time they've used Workaway. First time I've used Workaway, so we're all sort of new to it and reasonably flexible, which I think will work pretty well. There was an article a while ago in the Spanish media saying that it was a bit of an abuse of workers, but I don't see that at all. And it's sort of we had an interesting discussion the other day, Johnny and I, about the labour cost and who was actually, whether we were cheap labour or not. It's hard to know sometimes. So yeah, that's Workaway. Like I said, go and have a look. It's quite cool. There's some funny jobs, big range. Some of them are they just want you to like au pair kind of thing. Others just want to have someone who's English speaking in the house, and there's a world of possibilities. So after picking the Workaway, which I've done and arrived, now I'll tell you guys who's here and what the situation is. The owner of the farm, Jose. Hola, Jose.
Hola, Nick.
He's about 50 years old, born near Madrid. He used to live in Barcelona. He's obviously speaks Spanish. His Dutch is pretty good because of his wife, and his English is probably, I reckon, maybe a little bit better than my Spanish at the moment. He's got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. They all live in Spain, and he was in the FC Barcelona Youth Academy when he was young, which was pretty epic. And used to have some mates that were professional cyclists, so he used to ride with them quite a lot. He's pretty active dude, and still sort of keeps it up. I think it's something you don't lose. He was on that hike with us this morning. It was around 20 k's we ticked up, which was he's got pretty massive calves. He goes all right. He's pretty relaxed with the work. He sort of lets us get on with it. Doesn't provide us with too many instructions most of the time, which is sometimes a little worrying, but pretty refreshing. Due to his English, the lack of, and my lack of Spanish, we have some pretty interesting conversations and interactions. There's a lot of hand signals involved. He's got a daughter who's 20 or something. He used to be married. I'm not sure where she is or what the story is, but she does come and visit sometimes. He loves mañana. Mañana, that's like tomorrow, literally. But in Spain, it's sort of, it's like later. Everyone says everything tomorrow. And he's just got a new job for the first time in 6 years. He's been looking for a job, and he finally on Friday got one, so pretty exciting. His partner, Sandy. Hola, Sandy. Ooh. She's Belgian, sister and mother in Belgium. No children, I think, but did used to be married. She's bordering on a crazy cat lady, I would say. 15 cats, I think, or 16 maybe. Took her about 15 minutes to write all their names down last night to try and remember what they were all called. Epic cook. She used to work as a cook for a job, and she makes some unbelievable food. She after that she worked for Mainhout Bosman, which is like a freighting company that got bought out by Mainfreight, which was a sort of a interesting link to home. She had a colleague who shifted to New Zealand and now's working for Mainfreight in Australia. She's got really good English, fluent Spanish, Dutch, and French, which sort of sounds pretty outrageous, but once you're over in Europe for a while, you get used to meeting people that can thrash out a few languages. She's got a good sense of humour, and she's really keen to help me with my Spanish, which is awesome. And I was sort of struck by her, to how relaxed she is as well. She just brought me up here to my room, and the day that I arrived, and just said, "Here's your room, and there's the bathroom," and left me to it. No, no rules or anything. And they left yesterday. They left me here on my own and went to town, and they didn't say anything. They just said, "See you later," which is it's pretty awesome when you think of it's a big property, a lot of animals, all the rest of it, but just chilled as. So in general, it's just the 2 of them here, Sandy and Jose, but now there's myself and Johnny. Hola, Johnny.
Hola.
Muchas almendras.
Muchas almendras.
But you have a help.
Huh?
Johnny's 23. He's a Polish dude. Dreadlocks, vegetarian, loves reggae, hates shoes. This is all my sort of bullet points. He's got his old man and a sister in Poland, and his mum lives in England. He sort of doubles as a translator between Jose and I, because he's got fluent Spanish, and he can speak pretty good English. He's pretty helpful with the Spanish for me, and encouraging, which is good. You sort of need that sometimes. He's got a good attitude to work, loves getting stuck in. He's just spent the last 4 or 5 months in Rondo down in the south of Spain, shifting horse shit around for like 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I think he's sort of pretty, he's loving it here because it's so chilled. Studied horticulture. So yeah, you couple that with his fluent Spanish, and he's got a pretty big head start on me here. I'm sort of the ugly twin sister, but I've got about 10 kilos on him, and we went for a few runs this week, and I think I've got his cash there too, so it's not all bad. He's a pretty interesting dude to talk to, listening to stories about Poland and how old-fashioned they are, sort of almost backwards there, and he, like he said, he gets stared at walking down the street just because he's got dreadlocks and stuff, so it's it's really interesting hearing about another culture. So as you can probably guess, there's some pretty strange conversations around the place with all the different languages that are floating around. It's funny, Jose, Johnny and Sandy can all speak Spanish, which leaves me sort of in the lurch, but that's good. That's kind of what I wanted. Johnny, Sandy and I can all speak English, so then Jose sort of gets left out, which I hate. I feel really bad because he's sort of, I mean, it's his place, and then he's sitting there, doesn't know what we're talking about. And Jose, Sandy and I can all speak Dutch too, so in that sense we can leave Johnny out. We don't ever do that, but it is funny interaction, and you sort of never know when they're walking up to you, what language they're going to speak to you in, and if you're going to have any idea what they're saying to you. I'm sort of struggling a wee bit trying to find a balance between asking lots of questions about Spanish, which can sort of get annoying. I understand that, it's a little tiring, but between asking too many questions and sort of not enough, and maybe coming across a wee bit lazy and not sort of trying. So that's sort of something I'm kind of working on at the moment. Johnny and I were supposed to be here till the 19th of November, but with Jose's new job, which he's starting on Monday, that may get pushed out, I think, by the sounds of it, just because he's going to be away a little bit more, and I don't know. No one really knows exactly how that's going to play out, because Jose doesn't know too much about his job yet. But it's fine. Johnny and I are both pretty flexible, and we'll just sort of see how that pans out over the next few weeks. I'll look to get back on this early next week, just with some info on my Spanish learning, some of the techniques I'm using, how I'm sort of going about that, until then, adios.